Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you so much for coming to our session today, joining us today this lovely evening at Sukoon's Adda. Today's host is Meetu ma'am, who will be taking over today's session. About Meetu ma'am, she is a Delhi-based advocate. She is practicing in Delhi courts for past 10 years. She has also served as panel lawyer for Delhi Commission for Women for their rape crisis cell. She specialized in criminal, civil, and matrimonial law. So, Meetu ma'am, I hand over the stage to you now.
Uh, Thank you, Priya, for such a lovely introduction. And good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me this chance, this opportunity to turn my learning into a teaching and imparting the knowledge. Okay, so let's first understand what is will. So, as its name suggests, that will is a desire. In will, we chart out our desired how our assets should be distributed in our legal heirs after our demises. So, will is a legal document that outlines how our assets should be distributed upon our death. And it's essential to ensure that your will is valid and reflect your true intention to prevent dispute among the heirs. So, it is very important, and when you are drafting your will, that the wording of your will should be very specific, very clear, and very precise. There should not be any confusion. Okay? एंड जो विल होता है एक ये डॉक्यूमेंट होता है जिसमें आप अपने डिजायर्स को चार्ट आउट करते हैं कि जो भी आपके
Uh,
एसेट्स
M-
हैं वेदर इट्स
Meetu ma'am,
हाँ जी
I've gotten a request to kindly put your slide on full screen. Will that be possible? Slideshow mode पे.
तो बेसिकली विल इज अ लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट ये एक लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट होता है जिसमें हम अपने डिजायर्स चार्ट आउट करते हैं डिजायर मेंशन करते हैं जिसमें वी आर राइटिंग दैट हाउ आर एसेट्स शुड बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू आर लीगल हेयर्स अपॉन आर डिमाइस ओके एंड विल जो होता है ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट डॉक्यूमेंट होता है एंड इसके बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स होते हैं जैसे कि if you are making a will you first of all you are securing your assets you have total control over who will get your asset after your demise plus आपके अगर फैमिली में कोई माइनर है तो यू कैन सिक्योर देयर राइट कि when he will become the adult how he should get your property and when you if you in case you have become disabled and incapacitated so will is a very important document that will decide that how your asset should be managed when you are not there. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Okay, so what are the legal age for making the will? So whoever is adult has reached the age of 18 years he is eligible to make the will the moment you have reached the age of 18 but usually क्या होता है 18 years पे nobody is making will mostly जो होता है 50 to 40 years पे लोग will बनाते हैं बेसिकली इसका कोई क्राइटेरिया नहीं है कि आपको उस किसी पर्टिकुलर एज पे बनाना है बिकॉज मैनी पीपल आस्क मी कि व्हाट इज द राइट एज टू मेक द विल so I would say कि there is no particular age to make a will whenever you say that you have acquired the uh, some amount of asset and when you think yeah this is the right time when I want to chart out my desire कि मेरी डेथ के बाद मेरे लीगल हेयर को किस तरह से ऐसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होने चाहिए द मोमेंट यू विल डिसाइड द मोमेंट यू विल थिंक कि ठीक है दिस इज द राइट मोमेंट आप उस मोमेंट पे विल बना सकते हैं नाउ द अनदर क्वेश्चन केम कि आप कितनी बार विल बना सकते हैं सो द आंसर इज यू कैन मेक विल फॉर एन नंबर ऑफ टाइम आप कितनी भी विल बना सकते हैं जब आपको लग रहा है कि आपने एक विल बनाया कि नहीं मुझे इसमें कुछ और ऐड करना है सो यू कैन मेक द सेकंड विल देन you can make the third will but in the eyes of law your last will be valid so what are the assets that you can include in your will first is the real estate if you are having a property real estate property you can include that in your will then cash if you're having a cash you can include that in your will then financial security such as FDs retirement account insurance and investment plans then personal possession and the assets you own interests such as business partnership corporation from where you are getting the benefits so these are the things that you can include in your will the most important thing to discuss here is that You can only make a will of your asset that is presently in your name. What I mean by this is that you cannot make will about assets that you are anticipating in future. You can only make will about the assets that is presently in your name. जो प्रेजेंटली आपके नेम में रजिस्टर हैं, चाहे वो प्रॉपर्टी हो, चाहे कैश हो, चाहे एफडी हो, आप सिर्फ उसी की बिल बना सकते हैं. उसके अलावा फ्यूचर अगर आप एंटिसिपेट करें कि फ्यूचर में मुझे इनहेरिटेंस से प्रॉपर्टी मिलेगी या फिर मेरे को कैश मिलेगा, यू कैन नॉट इंक्लूड दैट कैश और रियल स्टेट और प्रॉपर्टी इनटू योर विल at the moment you are making a will. So it should be very clear for the benefit of your beneficiaries. So there should not be any confusion कि जो प्रॉपर्टी आपके पोजेशन में है अभी या फिर आपके नाम में है अभी, आप उसी की विल बना सकते हैं, उसके अलावा आप विल नहीं बना सकते. Next thing is how many types of wills is there? So there is oral will and registered will. Oral will is not very common. ये oral will सिर्फ आर्मी पर्सोनल्स के लिए बहुत पहले यूज की जाती थी बिकॉज दे आर ऑलवेज ऑन द बॉर्डर्स. एंड अगर उन्होंने ओरली बोल दिया है कि मेरे डिमाइस के बाद ये प्रॉपर्टी मेरे सन को या मेरी डॉटर को या किसी भी पर्सन को जानी चाहिए, सो वो वैलिड होती थी. फॉर अ सिविलियन योर विल शुड बी registered. Okay, it should be written properly on the piece of paper, and there's no format, like there's no particular format कि आपको इसी format में ही will बनानी है. You can write your name, your address, your property, and how you want it to be distributed. One thing you should take care of it, that it should be clear and concise. Okay. Then after making this will, it is very important that you have the witness who will validate your will. What's the purpose of having a witness is that there should be two adult witness जो कि sign करेंगे on your will to testify that yes, the will is made when the person who is making a will is called testator. That the testator is making will in a very sound mind and he is under no coercion, and the will is authentic. So the purpose of marking the sign as a witness is that it authentify the will, it validate the will. And it's also beneficial that if in case after your demise your will is disputed in the court, those witnesses can be called upon in the court of law to identify and to validate that will, that yes, this will is valid and it was made in my presence and I have signed it. Is there any confusion so far? Please, if you have any question, you can raise your hand. Or unmute yourself and ask any question.
I have a quick.
Yeah, please go ahead.
No, I just had a quick query. If the witnesses somehow are not available, maybe they have passed away by the time the will gets executed or whatever, then what is usually the standard procedure for the courts?
Yes,
to
I'll come
fill
to
in
that.
for the witness part.
Yes, I'll come to that. In this scenario, your registration comes handy. If you have registered your will, your validation will be proved by the government records. That's why it is very important that you register your will. I'll come to that point in later. Like, because in will, if you are making a will, you have an option that if you want to register it or not register it. Most people do not get it registered, to about the legalities and maybe due to economical reason, whatever their reasons are. But it is always suggested that though it is not mandatory, but you have to get it registered so that you can, if there is a dispute in the court of law regarding the validity of your will, you always have a proof. Okay. I hope it is clear, sir.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks. I just had another quickie there. For those assets where you can mention a nomination, because that is also supposed to get activated after the asset holder's death, right? So, for example, bank account, FDs, where you have a nomination facility. So, how does it stack up against a will? And in case there's a conflict between the nomination and the will, which one will hold precedence, or which one will override the other?
Yeah, very
The
good question.
will override the nomination, or how is it? So I
Yes,
just wanted to understand the relative difference between nomination and will. Thank you.
yes, yes. See, nomination is when a person wants ki my money should be given to the person who is a nominee after my demise. Will is also saying the same thing. But if there is a contradiction between the nominee and the will, in this case, always will be given importance more than a nominee. And first of all, it is also very important to see when the will is made. Okay, the timing of the will is also very important. But in this
Hello.
kind,
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, continue. And then I'll ask.
okay,
So,
no problem. So, in the contradiction, if nominee is fighting ki it's my name in the bank account and the beneficiary in the will is fighting, then the will be more important. Will be given more importance if it is registered. You know, registration is very important to fight for any dispute. If any dispute rise in the court of law, then registration is very important. Okay. Any other question if you have, you can ask.
No, nothing as of now. Yeah, thanks for those clear answers.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
just this Sandeep here. I just wanted to clarify one point regarding to the last discussion regarding nominee and contradiction between nominee and legal heir. Nominee, as I understand, is not the need not be the rightful owner. It is the responsibility of the nominee to ensure that the money goes after the death of the owner to the legal heir, which will be
Yeah,
decided by the will.
yeah, it should be decided by the will.
So, Mituji, this is Sonali here. Now, nominee is specified, let's say, at the bank account level. Okay. And the will is a legal document, even if it is registered. Now, supposing the person dies, and unless there is an appointed lawyer who has the details that this person's will contains ABCD, these instructions. I mean, in many cases in India, people do not necessarily have a lawyer employed to support throughout the lifespan or after lifespan. So, what kind of conflicts could arise? I mean, from the bank, they may contact the nominee, and there may be a separate will which identifies other recipients for the bank money in the bank accounts. So, this gap that is there because of lack of one legal person looking after the uh, entire specifications of the person who died, how does this get bridged? Is there any conflicts that arises, or
Yes, it's
basically is it upon the person to keep everyone informed that okay, I mean, unless supposing I have made one set of people, a couple of people as nominees, but then I go and change my will and it is registered, and there some other family member or maybe a charitable organization is given the uh, benefits. So then is it my responsibility to inform the bank to change the nominees, or how does it go?
like you are okay.
Because
Fine.
I may not have that time. In old age, people become infirm, they suddenly okay.
Okay. See, if there's a nomination in the bank, and then if I am making my will, okay, I have nominated someone XYZ in my bank, okay, then I am making a will, and I am nominating someone else, but I am making beneficiary someone else for the same bank account. Okay, I'm saying this is my account number in SBI or whatever bank, and after my demise, this account should be the money should be given to this beneficiary. Then, in this case, the beneficiary who is mentioned in the will, that person will get the benefit, and the nominee, of course, uh, like he will dispute that I am the nominee in the bank account, but registered will be prevail in this situation.
I
And
get that. So it is a responsibility of the lawyer to take and drive this, that the will is respected and the nominee or who might have, whose name might be in the bank accounts but not in the will, is not given the fund. It is for the lawyer to intervene, is it?
yes, not everyone hire the lawyers.
That's it.
This is, yeah, this
Yeah.
is not a very common practice.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in this scenario, we always have an executor. Executor is someone with whom we like it's like keeping your will safe. You can keep your will safe with yourself, or you can hire a executor.
Okay.
Executor is a person, you will give your will to that person and instruct them that on my demise, please, this is my will, and distribute my property, my cash or asset according to my wish.
So the
Okay?
executor can be a
Yes,
non-legal person also, maybe a
yes,
friend or a.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Executor can be a family member or a lawyer or a friend, but he should not be a beneficiary in the will.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, any other
I
question?
just needed a small clarification that when you bring in an executor, so in India there are many process faults in terms of triggers. For example, if something happens, then it is not like a automatic trigger to the next person, to the next stakeholder who comes to know. So how will the bank know that this nominee with whom I have to interact, because the bank knows that this is a nominee with whom I have to interact in case the owner of this asset dies, the bank account holder, the FD holder. If he or she dies, bank knows that this is the nominee I have to touch base with. But upon death, what triggers the news to the executor? Because the executor can be anywhere. That number one. Number two, does the bank even care? Because whenever I have had conversations around executing instructions for nominees, banks just don't care whether the money is going via me to the legal heir or not. Most of the time, the nominee itself is the legal heir. And in the form itself, I don't remember recalling where they are asking for a submission that I am the nominee and I'm also the legal heir. So if that is true, then the banks are absolved of the responsibility of the money going to the legal heir itself.
Very
So
rightly
my
said.
question is, so my question is that when a death occurs, uh, is it incumbent upon the executor to keep checking upon the person that, hey, have you died? Have you died? Or how does this process happen? Because the bank would have gone ahead with the nomination agreement without even knowing that there's a will over there. Because after that, once the nomination part of the contract is over, then I don't think banks even care whether the nominee has done his or her due diligence in passing on that
Yeah.
asset to the legal heir. That is my question. In case it is found to be valid.
Yeah, that's right.
Very
That's right.
valid question.
Yeah,
But
very
your
valid
question
question.
was funny. Hey, have you died? That was a funny.
I wanted to bring in some humor. No, at least we don't want anyone to die.
Imagine us dialing to a person who's gone and saying,
And saying,
"He
hey,
died."
because you see, in India, the trigger mechanism is not that great
Yeah,
until
true.
unless it is a fraud. So because in a fraud, the person who is entrusted, whom you have entrusted, he or she loses straight away first. So for example, if your locker gets say looted in a bank branch, even before you come into the picture, the branch has lost all of it, and it has to be answerable and then make it up and everything else happens. So in terms of fraud, there are triggers, right? But in terms of after that events, there are hardly any triggers. So for example, the moment you say submit your Aadhaar card at a crematorium, so my Aadhaar, there should be a trigger, right, to everyone who's connected with my Aadhaar. So for example, my bank account is connected with Aadhaar. That bank account should immediately go into a freeze mode in terms of transactions authorized by me, isn't it? That no transactions now authorized by me will go through. So because of this trigger mechanism being weak, my question was, what happens to the executor? I mean, he can be in anywhere in the world.
Very
So
rightly said.
And this might be a cause of dispute, because when it is known, so the problem in India is we are proactive for politicians and VIPs, reactive for people, until unless it's a community problem.
Mhm.
So this can be a cause for unnecessary piling up litigation.
Mhm.
Because once you come to know that a nomination is actually secured by a will downstream, that can become a cause for litigation, which can be avoided.
Mhm.
That is my question.
Okay.
Sorry if
See,
I took up a lot of time.
no, it's okay. See, generally bank won't care about where there is a will or not. They will go by the who is nominated in my bank account, right? But if you are making a will and if you are hiring an executor, I don't think you will hire any random person whom you are not talking on a daily basis, right? If you are trusting your very valuable document to someone, this has to be someone very close with whom you have a direct interaction and you are talking to them on a daily basis, or at least you know they are very close to you. So upon your death, obviously they will know that you are gone. You know, usually this doesn't happen that executor is oblivious of your death. So it's now it's duty of the executor that he has to be very diligent that all your asset has to be distributed as per your will that you have mentioned in your registered will. So if there is a conflict that the nominee has reached your bank account and claiming that I am the nominee of the account holder, the money should be given to me. Obviously, bank will not interfere, but generally bank do ask for who is the other legal heir, and they give you the form as well to get it signed from the other legal heir and all. They do some kind of due diligence before transferring the money, but it is duty of the executor that he should be diligent that when the time has come where he has to mention that disclose the fact that there is a registered will of the person who is demised, and now it is his will that his property should be distributed according to his wishes, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes,
so
I
the
get your
main
point.
duty is of the executor. And in case if the executor is not taking any action, then obviously there will be dispute arise. If nobody knows that you have making a will, then how can you defend, right? Then the nominee will win in this situation. So it is very important that you always have a reliable person as an executor who you can trust. Otherwise, obviously there will be disputes, and sometimes it's very hard to prove that the person who is a nominee uh, is a valid should be a valid owner after your demise or some other legal here. I hope I have answered your query.
Yes,
Mituji,
actually,
I
I was
just
there.
want,
Yes,
please,
yes.
please carry on.
Yes, Dhyanaji.
Mituji, I just wanted to know one
Okay.
query. Can husband be the executor for wife's will and vice versa?
Yes, he can be a executor. He can be
Because
executor.
wife is also beneficiary in case she survives.
Mhm.
So in that case, is it like authentic thing to my wife can execute husband's will and husband can execute wife's will?
Yes, you can. You can. You
But
can hire anyone as an executor. The
acha, but
purpose
that,
of
But
having an
yeah,
executor, the purpose of
Mhm.
having an executor is just making your documents safe.
Okay,
yeah, but
okay, but it has to be registered in the court.
A will is not mandatory to register, but to
Okay.
avoid these legal disputes, it's
Hmm.
suggested that you have to get it registered to avoid
Okay.
these legalities.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's up to you. But in the
Okay.
eyes of law, it is very important that you register your will.
Well, registration.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mituji. Thank you.
I have a question. It's more related to bank accounts than a will in case of dispute. Like, is it better to have a joint account or a nominee? Like, you can have a nominee, but in case of a joint account, the survivor will get the money, and
Mhm,
only upon the death of the survivor will the nominee get. So there's no dispute if there's a joint holder, right?
mhm. See, if you have a joint account and if you have a joint property, This question is also very common that people ask me that I have a joint property with my husband or my wife, and now I want to make a will. So can I make the will of the whole property or the half of my share, 50% that is? So if the will is made, the person can make will only of the portion that you are legally owner of. Are you getting my point? Like in
No,
joint account.
I was asking about the bank account, not
Yeah.
about property. So, like, is it better? Like, I have two children, okay? Now, if I have my son's name in the joint account and my daughter is a nominee, so then in the event of my death, my son will be the first preference, right? Only if something happens to him, then my daughter gets it. It's like that?
Yes, if you have not mentioned it, you will. Yeah, as per the bank law, it will go to the nominee, right? But if you have mentioned otherwise in your will, if here you have made your son a
No,
nominee.
madam. I think Sangeeta madam is asking that if the priority will go first to the joint holder than to the nominee. So I'm a former banker. Yes, it will first go to the joint holder, then will come to the nominee.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting.
No, it's
No,
okay. It's fine.
that was my question, so I was not able to word it properly. Thank you so much.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it will go to the joint holder.
Yeah. Ma'am, I have one question.
So in that case, if the joint holder is, I mean, if he or she wishes, that person can stop the nominee from getting the fund, right? Until
Yes.
the joint holder agrees to part with the funds, the nominee will not get.
As long as joint holder is alive, nominee does not come in the picture only.
Okay.
Is it clear? आपने खुद ही डिस्कशन करके सब क्लियर कर लिया.
Sorry for
Ma'am,
using your time for this. Sorry, I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's
Bhayana
good we
sir
are
has a
engaging.
doubt,
Yes,
I
please,
think.
please, Bhayana sir, please proceed.
Yes, madam. You said that banks normally will ask other legal heirs, but that is not the case. I lost my mother last year, June, and July when I processed. None of the banks asked. I was a nominee, so it was processed. That's it. Chapter closes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Which bank
And
was
it
that?
happened with SBI.
Okay. Thank
So
you
in
for
the
sharing your
form,
experience.
there was no mention about asking me who are the other legal heirs.
So you were the nominee in that bank account.
Yeah, I am the nominee.
So you got everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, you said they ask, but I am telling
Yes,
you in the form.
generally they do.
In the form there was nothing. PNB also there was nothing.
Okay. So maybe they were not very diligent about it.
I don't know.
No, ma'am.
In the banking process, there is no requirement to ask for legal heir, only nominee.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine. But they do give the form to ask if there is if you have a brother, sister, or any other survivor. Because I remember when on my father demise, I went to the bank. My mother was nominee, and they gave some form to fill.
Yeah,
And it
if
was
the
Canara
nomination
Bank.
is blank, then you have to do that. Otherwise, the logic behind this is that nominee is not the owner of the fund unless he or she is the legal heir. Otherwise, it is the responsibility of the nominee to hand over the money to the legal heir.
Yes.
But sir, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, similar for insurance claims also. Whenever a death claim arises,
very much.
So the nominee, we do not, ask any questions to the nominee if he is claiming the amount. It is only when a rival claimant comes.
Correct.
Then we ask them to go to the court, go to the will, bring a probate, this and that. But till the time there is a rival claimant, nominee is eligible to get the money.
Yes. See,
Very clear on that.
nobody can raise the dispute if no one else knows that you have made a will.
Correct.
Obviously,
but
nominee will
as
go
it is, even if money is paid to the nominee,
Okay.
He is not the rightful owner.
Correct.
He is only the custodian of the money.
Yes, it's the custodian of the money.
Well, that's all.
Right.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. मैम मुझे एक सिंगल डॉटर है, आई एम सिंगल लेडी और मेरी ओनली वन चाइल्ड डॉटर है, तो मुझे भी ये सारा रजिस्ट्रेशन विल लीगल और उसके साथ में दो जो जामीन बोल सकते हैं हम या जो भी नीचे साइन करना है दो साक्षी को, तो ये सब रिक्वायरमेंट मेरे लिए भी जरूरी है सिंगल चाइल्ड डॉटर के लिए?
नहीं, सिंगल चाइल्ड डॉटर के लिए लॉ है कि इफ their parent after their parent demise they are considered to be their original owner of your property. उनको आपको ये सब करने की जरूरत नहीं है इफ यू हैव अ सिंगल चाइल्ड, वो ऑटोमेटिकली
आज ही मैं बैंक, हाँ जी, आज ही मैं बैंक जाके आई और अपना जो मेरा सेविंग अकाउंट है उसमें उसको मैंने नॉमिनी के एज ए नॉमिनी के तौर पे उसका नाम डाल के आई हूँ, एंड जो लॉकर है उसमें आइधर और सर्वाइवर में उसका नाम रेकमेंड किया है मैंने टुडे, आज ही करके आई हूँ और आज आपका ये सेशन था, तो ओके एक सिंपल विल करके रखना चाहिए घर पे।
यस, एक सिंपल विल करना चाहिए, इसका कोई फॉर्मेट नहीं है कि आप अपनी इच्छाएं उसमें लिख दो। विल का मतलब क्या होता है? डिजायर, मेरी डिजायर की मेरी प्रॉपर्टी कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होनी चाहिए आफ्टर माय डिसमाइस।
हाँ, और डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने में तो ओनली वन चाइल्ड डॉटर है, तो
हाँ,
कोई
हाँ,
दूसरा
तो उसको आपकी
हाँ।
जरूरत नहीं है।
नहीं, उसको भी जरूरत हो सकती है अगर आप किसी और को देना चाहते हैं। ए पार्ट ऑफ योर लाइक यू नो योर हाउस यू वांट टू गिव टू सम चैरिटी।
No, but she is asking for the child only, no?
No, that's correct. Otherwise, there is no need. If you want,
then that is a different case. That is a different case. If you don't want to give your property to your son or daughter, or maybe you want some part of the property given to your son or daughter, or maybe other part you want to give it to your sister or mother or anybody, or to even NGO, then you have to make a will. Then it is very mandatory that you make a will. Okay.
कविता मैडम अनम्यूट करें अपने आप को।
Someone wants to ask any question?
Yeah, mother, I am having a joint locker with my daughter, and in that case, what should be the correct way in case of anything happening to me?
Have you made any will? No?
Will have made, but that is separate. That is her locker. I am the nomination and joint holder with her.
Okay.
I have two daughters. So in that case, what is the right way?
Your daughter is joint holder in your locker.
No, it is the primary holder. She is the main person.
She is the main person. Okay.
She is the main person. I am having the, like, you can say nominee or second holder.
Okay.
So in that case, I have another daughter also.
Okay.
I just clarifying. Recently, government has announced that you can nominate more than one person. So if madam has got two daughters, she can nominate both the person. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
You can nominate, but you have to mention in the bank that you are making changes in the nominations.
Okay.
You have to inform them.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. So once the registration is done, and after that you think, no, I want to change my will. Okay, I want to make new will. So what is the procedure for that? And if that is allowed or not? Of course, it is allowed. If you want to change your will, you can make another will. But before doing that, you have to revoke the previous will to avoid any confusion. Okay, if there will be multiple wills, then everybody will come forward and dispute about the authenticity and validity of the will. So in case you are making or updating your will or making another will, please make sure that you revoke all the previous wills that you have made. Okay, it is always important to review and update your will regularly, especially after major life events such as marriage, divorce, or the birth of the child, keeping your current to be ensured that it reflects your current desires and wishes. Okay.
Thank you.
We have already discussed it, revocation of previous will. Okay, now come to trust. So many times I have seen that parents are living in India, but their children are living in abroad. So in their will, if they are making a will and they have mentioned that after my demise, my children should get all the property, all the cash. But it's very difficult that to transfer the money and all the asset from one country to another country, because there is a huge legal taxes you have to pay according to the uh, law of the country. So in that case, what you can do, you can create a trust. Okay, give all your assets to the trust and mention all the how you want your legal heirs to get the money from that. Like आपने will आपने ट्रस्ट बना दिया एंड आपने बोल दिया ठीक है मंथली अलाउंस मेरे चिल्ड्रन को या बच्चे को या जिसको भी आप बेनिफिशियरी बनाना चाहिए उसको मिलना चाहिए. इस ये एक तो माइनर के लिए बहुत अच्छा होता है. इफ यू वांट टू मेंशन अ बेनिफिशियरी who is minor, so you can create trust for that person. Okay, you can secure the right of the minor through your will. So creating a trust is a very good thing to secure your assets and the right of your
Yes,
legal
ma'am.
heirs.
I think it's more beneficial.
Yes,
ये
it's more
point
beneficial.
बहुत important है. Yeah.
So as I said, the registration is not very important, but it's very it's suggested that you should always get your will registered, because will can face various challenges such as the dispute over the validity, claim of the undue influence, or lack of proper execution. Okay, so
But registration is a very difficult proposition. You go to the sub-registrar office, they really harass you. Some of the
yeah.
ladies I see are very old. How will they manage?
That is the problem in our country. Every legal process, it takes so much of time and effort, and it is so difficult for not only senior citizens, even otherwise. Nothing gets solved easily, quickly.
Even the
That is the
problem
problem.
is that for simple registration, they want below the table some money. How to sort
Yeah.
it out that one?
Yeah.
I mean,
Is there
any legal process in India takes undue time and
Yes.
just drags on. Unfortunate, very unfortunate.
Yes, due to few corrupt people, legal process
No,
is
it's not only corruption. It is basically the
Don't say
whole
few.
administration. They had spoken about the revamping of the entire, the legal system and justice bill and all these stuff. I don't think anything has moved in that direction. I'm not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it takes years and years to get
Yes.
anything moved, and that is the saddest thing. People
Yes,
face so much of harassment. Life goes fighting cases or sorting problems.
Yes.
True.
I understand. Yes, it take a lot of time in the legal process because of the functioning of the court and because of the paucity of time, or maybe the lack
And
of
even and as you correctly said, Mituji, you know that even in the legal profession also, there are so many corrupt lawyers. They'll just make you go round and round and try to drag the case for their own benefits.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and harass the clients.
Yes. It's very unfortunate that people have to face these things. But as we are talking about the registration of will, so it is important that you get it done.
Yeah.
And I understand that the process is difficult because of few people who are not very empathetic to the senior citizen, or maybe they're out there to make money under the table. But there are the online procedure as well. You can file the online forms. Yes, you have to deal with those kind of people, But anyhow, it's very
My apologies in advance. What I want to just chip in is my apologies in advance to everyone if you find me to be an outlier. So senior citizen, or not senior citizen, it's a matter of just being a citizen. India is a strange country.
that's true.
India is a strange country. Here everything is possible, and nothing is possible.
You will find all kind of people over here.
Here everything is possible.
Good, bad.
Nothing is possible.
Yeah.
We should know how to navigate things. But I had just a final point. What if the executor dies? That is one. The other is that in case I'm entrusting a third party to be the executor in the event of my death to carry out all the actions which are usually on the radar of a will. So can't I ask, say, for instance, the bank to become an executor for me
No,
if my child is a
no.
minor? Like in the bank, hey, just like you ask for EMIs against your credit, against deposits, can you keep transferring money to my child's account or releasing money to my child? So that for me, creating a trust as a common citizens to creating a trust, wouldn't that be a little bit confusing and a little bit challenging? I was thinking on those lines, just in case my thinking is correct.
Yeah. See, bank will not become your executor, you know. Bank has other things to do legally. How can bank become your
Bank is
executor?
not allowed in India to take up this
Yeah,
upward.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
I mean, I was maybe I was stretching myself a little too much for my simplicity's sake. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Uh,
Yeah,
But the
but
earlier query
it's
that
not bank job to execute your will.
But the other query that everybody was facing and talking about the issues, harassment at the court level or the registration level, I just have one tip to offer that some private sector banks have started will assistance services. Some of the private sector banks.
Oh,
If you're
really?
having accounts, then you can approach them, and I think through their lawyer it will be much simpler.
Oh, which
But
are
not
these
all
banks?
banks.
Which are these banks?
I know HDFC has definitely done. I don't know take
Oh,
names, but
that,
HDFC has done. ICICI has one. Axis,
oh,
I'm
that
not
is
sure,
great.
but most probably they're doing it. You can ask them. They will always have their branch level lawyers, and their
So
system.
through them you can choose executor and
No. Executor choice, as Madam has said, is your decision, and it should be somebody very close to the family.
Yes.
Otherwise, all those problems she mentioned will come up. You do not know who has died, who's the brother, who's the nominee. Executor should be a person very well versed with the family dynamics.
And then bank lawyers will do what? They will be
Bank is offering this service as an add-on facility to attract you retain you as a customer. This is not
so
their usual
that
job.
I understand, but what will be their role if I choose to leverage
If you say that like what Madam has said, same thing, they will have a person, maybe a lawyer, will guide you through the will making process. And if you say that I want to know execute it, I want to register, I don't know whom to go to, they'll assist you because you are a valued customer.
Okay.
If you're not a customer, they'll not do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. These facilities are available for private banks, but not all government banks.
Yes,
So,
very true.
yeah.
For us,
Mituji, I just wanted to know the cost of registration is only rupees 385 rupees, but lawyers sometimes they ask for 3,000 or 10,000. What is the exact system?
The registration fees is what is available in the online. It's amount you have mentioned, but obviously lawyer will charge their fees as well. They are running for you.
Okay, okay. So whatever they ask, they have to pay.
Yeah,
It
they
is
have
as
to pay the bill
simple.
as well. So
उसमें कोई
they are
सकून नहीं
eligible to get their
no
money.
सकून there.
No Sukoon.
Mituji, I have a question, Sonali here.
Yeah.
My parental property is will to me, okay, by my mother, okay. But the probate was not done. When she passed away through cancer, and after that we were extremely caught up. The probate is not done. The probate has to be done. Now we have received a suggestion from a family friend who dabbles. He's not a lawyer, but he helps people with lot of these property and legal matters. So based on his experience, he was probably suggesting, he said, your mother has two daughters, me and my sister, okay. So now if you go to probate the will, it will take years and years and many visits to the court and harassment. Instead he was saying that just get the mutation done in both your name and that will solve the problem. Is it true or is he wrong?
See, if you go for the probation of the bill, I don't think that you will face any harassment. You just file the application for the probation, and the court will give you the date, and they will ask for all the documentation, and the order will be given to you.
And what will be the duration for completing the probate, and what is the approximate cost? Have you any idea? I mean, you will have idea, but can you suggest?
Probation to get the order of the probation, it hardly takes 6 months to 1 year.
Okay, so probate, getting the probate done will take 6 months to 1 year.
Yeah.
And the expense involved?
Expense depend on the lawyer you are hiring to get this done.
No, so
It's
this
very
gentleman
subjective.
is an uncle. He has said it will take at least 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh within that range.
No, he's just assuming things on his own, I guess.
Okay.
You meet a lawyer, and he will guide you accordingly. Lawyer will take the fees, obviously.
Yeah, that
And
is
yeah,
understood. So
yeah.
a friend of mine who has done probate of his father's property said no, it cannot exceed more than 50,000 because they
Yeah.
have a big property. He said
Madam,
no.
50,000 is the stamp the government will take. Now, lawyer
Yeah.
fees might be something added
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah, lawyer fees I'm not adding into it, but the probate of the
She's right. 50,000 is the right figure.
okay.
Stamp duty is given as per your property value.
Okay, and you suggest that the probate should be done, not mutation in both their names and leaving out the probate, right? What is your suggestion?
Yeah, you can go for either, but because the person is like instilling fear in you that probation will take time, so I'm clearing the point that no, you can go for the probation in the court. It will take 6 months to 1 year, and
And if the property is if the mutation is done for both the daughters of of the person who has willed, in this case me and my sister, does it safeguard the interest of both the parties, like me and my sister? I mean,
Yes,
obviously it is now in both our names, so I should not be able to sell it off. Neither should my sister be to sell it off, right? But the thing is, it was left in my name, and the way I would like it, that in my absence, after my death, it should go to my sister and then to her son. Okay, that's the way I want it. So in such a situation, is mutation better or probate better?
Get the probation done, and then once you get the property, then you can make your will.
Okay, thank you so much.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, Sangeeta, ma'am.
What is the difference between probate and mutation? Like, what is the difference legally?
You already have the registered will in your hand. Okay, you are going to quote that this is my will, like this is my father will or mother will or whoever will is this, and you just give the application to the court, and the court will allow you to, okay, fine, distribute the property in that name. Mutation is a different process. Like you have to go to the registrar and you have to file the application, pay the stamp duty. So both things.
My doubt is not clear yet, ma'am. Mituji, the thing is that I live in my father's house, but this is actually my grandfather's house. So the property was divided between three brothers, but it's not in his name yet. It is still in my grandfather's name. And I have a brother, so the two of us will get whatever portion of his, we'll get 50-50 that he said. But it is not in the name, so how do you sort that out?
Okay.
How do you do that?
See, mutation refers to the administration process, right? Like in probation, you go to the court. Okay, that's the legal process, and mutation is the administration process. Okay, for updating the land records, so you go to the registrar to update the land record. Like you are changing the name, you are mutating the property from one name to another name. Okay, so this is the administrative property. You are changing the ownership.
Right.
That is called the mutation process, whereas the probate is a legal process, and where the court verifies. उसमें administration का कोई काम नहीं है. These are two separate entities. This is the legal and this is the administrative. So if you are going for the mutation, you have to go through the administration process. You go to the registrar, you file the application for the mutation, in which the ownership name will be changed.
No, but Mituji, this is a procedural matter. You are saying this is administrative, this is legal. But Sangeeta ji's example is very similar to my case. My this property that we live in is still in my mother's name. The mutation has not been done. The probate of the will has not been done. So now, for the sake of strengthening, for the sake of formalizing the ownership, is it mutation that one has to do or the probate of the will that one has to do?
If you are going through the probation, it will legally make you the owner of the property. Okay, both things are fine. It's all your choice how you want to go.
Is it one and the same thing? Like,
Madam Mitu, I think are we making a confusion between partition and mutation? mutation is of the municipal corporation for paying taxes of the property that you own. And the cases they are talking of is from a father to the daughters is a partition of the property into son, daughter, various names. Then they have to be mutated. This is a different discussion, isn't it?
No, in partition, yes. See, these things overlaps, because in partition, yes, you are getting the part of the property, and then you are getting
what
it's
Sangeeta
adjacent.
madam is talking about is probably something like partition and then mutation with the municipal tax. That's a separate thing.
No,
For
sir, the
revenue.
thing is
No,
that
no, no.
it's
She's
not-
asking the
talking
difference
about-
between.
I think she's talking about succession of the property, handing down of the property, ownership of the property from her grandfather to father to
yeah.
she and her brother.
It is
Like,
not yet in my father's name.
yeah,
It is still in my grandfather's name. So that, and I am a single lady, so I need to secure my future also.
yeah.
So, and touch wood, my father is alive, and I hope he lives to be 100 also. But I still want to know because it will just give me more clarity.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are saying that you are getting the property from your grandparent.
No, my father has said he's going to give
Okay,
50,
he
50.
received the property, ancestral property in his name.
No, not in his
No,
name.
no,
It's
no.
still in my grandfather's name.
Okay.
Late grandfather.
Okay. Okay. And how many brothers are there?
3 brothers.
3 brothers. Okay. So have the partition is done?
Yes.
Okay.
But no legal stuff. They just divided it. They called an architect, and we're all living in our portions happily. But I fear that afterwards there may be problem.
No, but if there is, I think first you should go for the partition, proper partition, and get the name registered according to the land and the share you have. First get the partition done properly through law.
Madam Sangeeta, partition means those many property deeds will come. If you have 5
Yeah.
partitions, there will be 5 property deeds. Do you have that, or is it an understanding?
It's a oral partition or the written partition. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know.
They only have orally have decided that this part.
How many deeds
take
do you
this
have?
part.
1 deed.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's just one in my grandfather's name. Is there a large cost involved in mutation? Because I think every time the topic has come up, the other family members are no, it's going to be very expensive. Is
Obviously,
mutation very expensive?
you have to pay the stamp duty. So it's according to the value of your property.
It varies from state to state.
Yeah, it varies from state to state.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I think I'll have to talk to you at length, and also Mr.
Yes.
Mendel,
Please
it's all
do
right.
call me. Do call me. I'm available at Sukoon Unlimited from 4 to 7, and you can call me anytime. You can schedule a call anytime with me. Okay, then we can talk on length.
Also, Mr. Mendiratha, I think, is very knowledgeable on the subject. So I think I just want clarity. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
I'm just happy to live while I'm living. After that, dekhi jayegi. But
Yeah,
I just
Your
want to
questions
know.
are perfect. Your questions are very valid.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we have discussed everything about the will. If anyone have any other questions.
Okay, so we are coming towards the end. Thank you, Meetu ma'am, for taking out time for this particular session and doing all the preparations for this one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being a wonderful audience and pitching in and sharing your experiences and your set of knowledge.